Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jessica McDonald. I am a knitting pattern designer and I am coming to you from a tiny town in Idaho, in the mountains of Idaho, where I live with my family. And in today's knitting podcast, we're going to talk about the finished object that you can see I'm wearing. I've also got a couple of whips and I've got some new yarn, which you can kind of see right there laying on the bed behind me. So I have a lot of exciting things to share with you today. It is June 13th. I don't have my phone. I'm not sure if that's the exact day. Maybe it's the 14th. It's the middle of June. It's a Tuesday evening. The kids are all in bed, but we have such long daylight hours now that I can film after the kids are in bed. You might hear some wind in the background. It is incredibly windy today. It has been today and yesterday. It's also been very, very cold, very cold. If you're wondering why my eyes keep shifting, there's a window right here and I'm looking out the window. Anyway, it's been very cold the last couple days. Tonight's low is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 Celsius, so it might freeze. We were gonna have a really good bumper crop year for our fruit trees. Our apples and our pears were just covered in blossoms. But if they freeze tonight, then that will just be for nothing. So hopefully it doesn't freeze tonight. We'll see. We'll see in the morning. It didn't freeze last night, and it was supposed to get down nearly to freezing. So hopefully we just managed to miss it tonight as well. So anyway, last night was T-ball. In the evening was T-ball. And I had my wool base layer on under my jeans. I had 2 wool sweaters on. I had my ski coat on. Oh, it's still so cold. Like, it's the middle of June. I should be wearing shorts and a tank top to T-ball, not all of my layers to T-ball. Yeah, I'm a little bit grumpy about it. Anyway, enough about the weather. Let's talk about this sweater. So this is red cedar. I've shown it on the podcast many times before, and you'll remember, if you're a usual watcher, you'll remember that I tucked it into kind of a back burner situation for a while once I got the yoke and the body done, and it was just waiting for its sleeves. Well, I took it out of hibernation, and you can see I've knit the sleeves now. All the ends are woven in, it's blocked, it's completely done, it's ready to go. So here I am showing it off. This is the very first time I've ever worn it, so the creases from where it was laying when I blocked it are still in. I need to steam them out because this weekend we're going to take pictures of it. We're gonna go camping this weekend for the first time this year, which it's supposed to be warm. If it was gonna be like 32 degrees for a low at night, we wouldn't go, but it's gonna be 80 degrees in 2 days, so big temperature shift. But we're gonna go camping for the first time this weekend, and I'm gonna take this sweater and also snowy pines along, and we're gonna take the pictures of those 2 sweaters this weekend when we're camping. My in-laws are also coming along, so there will be somebody there to keep a little bit of an eye on our children while we are taking pictures. My husband takes my pictures. All the pictures of me are taken by my husband. And all of the pictures of my kids as models are taken by me. So he's pretty good. He's learned a lot about taking pictures. When he first started taking pictures of my knitwear for me, he would take one single photo and then be like, here, what do you think? Now he'll just like stand there taking 1,000 pictures, and he'll tell me to move and look the other way, and he'll tell me I look dorky, and he's gotten pretty good at it, although he does not tell me when my hair looks terrible, so that's something that we'll work on, but he does an amazing job with the pictures. So we're going to take pictures of this one in Snowy Pines this weekend while we're camping. We're going to this exact same spot where the pictures for Woodland Ramble were taken, so we're going to take pictures there again. So Woodland Ramble is a book that you can find on my website, and it's a collection of children's patterns. Snowy Pines is the grown-up version of this one on the cover, and Red Cedar is the grown-up version of Cedar, which I will show you a picture of in just 1 minute. I'm gonna find it. Here's Cedar. That's Aiden a year ago. He still fits in his sweater because I made it a little too big. So since the yoke on this one has more room in it, I added more color work. So this section up here at the top, I added to this sweater, but is not found in the kids version. That way it maintains the theme and the look and feel of the yoke, but keeps it in scale because this one is deeper. So if I had left it the same, it would be kind of just a shallow little bit of color work. This one is knit in Durera Natura Ulysse, which is a woolen spun merino from France. It's a sport weight yarn. If you are in the United States and you want to get your hands on some Durera Natura, which is a really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yarn, you can find it at Shop La Mercerie. Excuse me. You can find it at Shop La Mercerie. That might be the only place you can find it in the United States, but I did order some yarn straight from Durera Natura in France, and it came really fast. I don't even think it was 2 full weeks that it took to get to me from France to the United States, so it was pretty quick. So if you want to order straight from them, that's also an option. So this is the color Goland. The gray is the color Goland. The stars and these little transitional dash pieces are made in caramel, and then this dark green is Forite. So these are all of the colors of the whole collection kind of pulled together into one sweater to wrap it all up, you might say. The fabric this yarn makes is just amazing. Just amazing. Like, it is so lightweight and warm and cozy. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's soft, it's woolly, it's a little bit fuzzy. When you look at the fabric, it looks a little fuzzy and muted, but it doesn't have a halo. I don't know if you'll be able to tell from here, but it's just so nice. Just so nice. It's such a beautiful fabric. Oh my goodness, I love it. I really, really love it. If you are a fan of natural wool yarns and you want something that's wool and spun and really soft, then you should get some Ulysse, because it is an absolute dream, you guys. It is so soft. So soft. So nice. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna really love this sweater. I've knit the sleeves a little bit longer than I usually do. Usually I'll knit them to about here, and they're just maybe half an inch, part of an inch longer, just a little teensy tiny bit longer. The body is a little bit too long. Pardon the chair noise. It's just a little bit too long, not overly so, but just a little bit. I think I would have preferred it to fit about here, which you can see there's a little bit of extra. Maybe half inch shorter, maybe an inch shorter. Not a whole lot shorter. It's a little tiny bit too long, but I'm not gonna change it. I am very tall and my torso is really, really long, and basically my entire life I have struggled to find shirts and tops that are long enough. It's a different world now that I can online shop and just specifically look for tall fit shirts, but I still have some lingering trauma from a childhood of shirts that were way too short. Yeah, those were not the days. And that style from when I was in my teens, style is coming back. Like, it's now. You look at all of the young girls and they're wearing the same thing that was in fashion when I was, you know, in my teenage years and in high school. I'm just like, I think I'll skip it. I already did that. I did not look good. I think I'll skip that. So, this is my finished object. My one finished object, which has taken me long enough. I think I started it in January, maybe February. It's been a while, but it is finally now done, and everything's woven in. Just 100% done. So now I'll take the pictures and then I can wear it. Okay, now let's move on to my works in progress. For my first works in progress, oh, I'm right in the middle of a round, but that doesn't matter. My first work in progress is something you've seen many times before. It's silver birch. I'm working on the sleeves now. The test knit on this is already started. If you follow me on Instagram today, which, I mean, you won't see it anymore. Today I reshared in my stories a post from one of the test knitters who I think is using Ulisse in the color caramel. I know she's using Ulisse. I'm pretty sure it's the color caramel to knit this sweater, and it looks so good. Makes me wonder if I should knit it in the color caramel instead of in gray. But anyway, I'm working on the sleeve. I don't even know how far. Close to the cuff. Close to needing to knit the cuff. I should probably try it on and see how long the sleeve is. Since it is a drop shoulder style, the length of the sleeve is going to vary based off of how much ease you chose in your chest, because that affects how far down the shoulder your sleeve starts, because this is going to come down my shoulder a little bit over here. So the sleeve might start lower down or higher up, depending on how much ease you chose to wear your sweater with. So I'm planning to write up a blog post on how to customize your sleeve length for a drop shoulder pullover, but that won't happen for a little while. So I'm planning to do that. There it is, a sleeve. I noticed last time I was working on this, I have got something on it. This is like my car knitting and on-the-go knitting project. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on camera. It's hard to see, even in real life. I got something on it. Right there. Oh, maybe I spilled tea on it. I'm moving my camera now. Yeah, you can't really see it on the camera, can you? It's not really showing up. Well, that bodes well for when I take the pictures. And I was just completely baffled because I typically work really hard to keep my stuff clean when I'm on the go and knitting out and about, but I got stuff on the front of it. So if it doesn't wash out, it's on the front of it. And yeah, I really hope this washes out when I block it, because there's some even over here. There's some even over here in this texture. It's gotta be tea. I really hope it washes out, because I'll be very sad if it doesn't. If it doesn't, I'll probably just duplicate stitch over top of it just to hide the stain, because there's no way I'm ripping all the way back to here and starting over. There's no way. So it will either wash out or be hidden. Either one. Anyway, this is called Silver Birch. It's also going to be in the same collection as this sweater is. It's this sweater that you can see here. It's called Birch in the children's collection. It is also knit in Durera Natura Ulisse, just like this one is, except it just uses the color Goland. And you've got the different cable and texture panels, which make it a lot of fun to knit because you're moving through different textures and different cables. But it's still really easy to knit because I've kept them all very simple deliberately and made sure that all of the cables line up. Like the cable of charts is all 16 rows, so you're not on different rows of different charts, and they all fit on one page, so you can just look at one page. I've put a significant amount of effort into making sure that this one is going to be really fun to knit for you, a really enjoyable knitting experience, so that even if you're not somebody who's really used to knitting cables, you can knit cables, because this one is pretty simple and it's really fun to knit. And I've also, there is a tutorial in my tutorial section on how to read cable charts, so I'm pretty sure it's in there. Better be in there. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, I've already done that. I lose track of my tutorials sometimes because I'm getting to be so many of them. I have 2 actually recorded that I need to edit and upload that I keep not having time to do. But if you don't know how to read a cable chart and you would like to learn how, head down into the tutorial section of my YouTube channel, which will be somewhere below this video, and there will be a tutorial on how to read cable charts. I should probably also put a link in the description too. I don't have a pen handy. I do have a pen handy. I always have a pen handy. There. I made myself a reminder, so I will not remember what I said tomorrow when I go to edit it. Okay, so there's my first whip, which you have seen a million times. It is in my Fringe Supply Co. town bag, in case you wanted to know. I bought this in a panic a couple years ago when Fringe went out of business. It is the best knitting bag ever, and I'm very sad that they are not in business. I wanted to get an olive colored one, but I couldn't find one. So I actually have quite a few of the Fringe Association or the Fringe Supply Co. bags. I've got 2 town bags. I've got 2, what's the smaller ones called? I don't know, the smaller size one. I forget what their name is, but I've got 2 of those as well. I just really like them because they're really sturdy and a bit utilitarian. So when I take it outside and just dump it in the dirt in a campground, it's fine. So anyway, if I took a pretty knitting bag, it would just get stained and everything. So the next whip, I put it onto 2 needles while I was eating my dinner to make this easier to show you, but I didn't quite even them out, so it is still a little funky. This is my first ever shawl design, and it is a colorwork shawl. It looks really pretty on screen. Look at it. So this shawl is designed to coordinate with the snowy hat, which you see here. This pattern is in Woodland Ramble. You can also get it as an individual pattern on Ravelry and my website. It is sized from toddler all the way up to adult. And it's just a forest of trees with snow gently falling on it, and the matching mitten here. Same thing, you can find the pattern in Woodland Ramble in the book, in the ebook, and individually on Ravelry and my website. So the snowy shawl is designed to coordinate with these, which I don't know where the other mitten is. I've only got 1 mitten now that my children have had them. So this is the snowy shawl. So I've got the gray. You can see the snow in the background of the gray. So this is Durare Natura Gilia, which is a worsted weight yarn. It is the same thing as Ulisse, but just in a worsted weight base. And it has all the same colorways as Ulisse. They have the same colorway. So I was able to use 2 different weights of yarn and all of the same colors, which I really liked. So this is the snowy shawl. The dark green is the color Forite, the white is the color Bolio, and the gray is the color Goland. I am most likely saying all of these color names wrong because they are French and I am American and I don't know how to pronounce French things. So I'm sorry for everyone who knows how to pronounce these and knows that I am just absolutely butchering these. So this is the snowy shawl. It is knit in the round. So you start up here and knit it in the round. Here's the section that you're gonna steek, or that I'm gonna steek. If you also make it, you will steek this part. This part will be steeked eventually. down to there. So it looks kind of messy, this part, because I've just worked in kind of a checkerboard pattern with my 2 different colors as I've worked along. And that's all going to be hidden inside of something. I'm either going to pick up stitches and knit a little bit and fold it over and sew it down, or I've been wondering if I can possibly find a way to encase it in like an I-cord type finish. I'm gonna have to play around with that when it comes time to do that, but yeah, it's gonna be steeked. So there's four steek stitches here in the middle, and then there's 1 side stitch. So there's 1 stitch on the side. So when I pick up stitches, I'll do this in the gray section, that'll be a lot easier to see. When I pick up stitches, I'll pick it up just this side of this first column of stitches. So that first column of stitches will lie alongside the top, kind of like just a nice column there, a nice braid along there. And then there will be 4 stitches. So after I cut it open, there'll be 2 stitches on each side that will be encased in some kind of finishing when it's done. So I'm gonna cut that open. When I told my husband I was gonna cut it open, he was like, why are you gonna cut your knitting? I promise it's a thing that people do. People do this. So I'm gonna cut the steek. I actually messed up right here. You see that white stitch is supposed to be green, because that's gonna be just on the outside of how I covered the steek. So I messed up and made that white instead of green. So when I'm finished knitting, I'm going to go back and just duplicate stitch over top of that 1 white stitch with the dark green and cover it up, and it will disappear. Nobody will ever know it was there. So this shawl uses, it's a triangle shaped shawl, but it uses a different rate of increases so that the top edge, like the wingspan edge, grows faster than the center. So this is the center here, the center spine. Center. On the wingspan side, you increase every single row or every single round. So on this bit, you increase every single round, and you can see that it's quite quick. You can see it's wanting to bunch up and curve a little bit right now because it's not been blocked. But once it's been blocked, it will lay nice and flat. And it also wants to curve, kind of like curve around. When I'm wearing it, it will want to curve around. So I think that will be really good for the final shawl, because it will just kind of nicely curve around my shoulders and follow the stitches. The fabric is naturally going to want to follow the path that I'm going to want it to take as I wrap it around myself. So this side, both sides of the steek are the top, so they increase every single round. And then in the center, you increase every other round. You can see my center spine. I've been working really hard to make sure, it still wants to focus on my face. I'm working really hard to make sure that where it comes together in the center, it looks good. So I really like how this comes together here. The way that white comes down into a point there. And you can also see that I've got a rather defined center spine. When I first started out way up here at the top, and for like the first inch, I was just knitting that center stitch, but it just disappeared and it got kind of ill-defined and messy up here at the top. So about an inch in, I decided I would just slip that center stitch on every even numbered round, which is also the round you increase on, and then knit it on the next one. So it just makes this really nice, simple center spine detail, which is really simple to do, and it just gives it the tiny little bit of definition, because I wanted definition in it. I didn't want it just to be muddy and disappear, but I didn't want it to be difficult, and I didn't want it to be big. I didn't want it to really disrupt the center of the shawl a whole lot. I didn't want it to be big. I didn't want it to be wide. I just wanted a single nicely defined stitch or column coming down through there. I actually messed up a couple days ago. I was knitting on it, and I accidentally shifted that 1 stitch to the right, and so my center spine was coming down and then veering off to the side, so I had to rip it back out. Thankfully I only had to rip out 4 rows and then we were all okay. But anyway, I've been recording along the way I think I've recorded 4 times now, kind of a vlog style video where I've gone through every step and shown the progress and all the times I've ripped out and all the changes and everything that is specific to this design. I thought since it's my very first shawl, it would be really fun to just record the entire process of it and explain what's going on and what I'm doing and the mishaps all the way through it. I just thought it would be fun to do that. So I've been doing that, and once this is finished and I can show it off in its whole glory, then I'll finish that video and I'll put it up as its own podcast episode, but it will be kind of like a special podcast episode all devoted to this shawl. So I'm so happy with it. Like, look at this. It looks really good on screen. When I was going through this section right here with the big snowflakes, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. Because you know, when you're knitting, it's just right here, like a forearm's length away from you. Sometimes you have to set things down and just let it rest for a bit and kind of put it away from yourself so you can see it from afar, and then you can tell if you actually like it or not. Which, when you're designing something, you can't look at the pictures of the sample or, you know, other people's projects and see what it's going to look like in the end. You kind of just got to go for it, and you're not going to know what it looks like as a total piece until it's done. So sometimes it can be kind of nerve-wracking, and it can be kind of like, oh, I don't know if this looks good. It might look terrible. It might look terrible in the end. And it's also kind of, sometimes you'll just get in a mood where everything is stupid and dumb and ugly and the whole world is dumb. And I was in one of those moods when I was going through this section here. So I had to set it down for a day and just wait that out, because it usually passes. It usually passes. And if it doesn't pass after a few days, then I'll rip it out, but it usually passes. So this is the snowy shawl. I have just started chart D, as you can see, the very start of the gray. There's going to be a big section of trees and big snowflakes, and then a ribbed border down at the bottom. So I've got chart D to finish, and then the ribbing, and I think I've only got like 30, no, not even 30, 20 some rows in chart D to finish, and then the ribbing. So I'm getting there, but every single round gets longer and longer and longer. It's taking me a very, very long time to knit now. Up here it went really fast. This part went really fast, but now it's going really, really slow. I'm going to take this along to the woods this weekend. I'm hoping to get through the color work and just be onto the ribbing, because that will be a lot easier for camping knitting. And I'm going to take it along to the woods this weekend and hopefully try to get it done by the end of this weekend, because I would really like to see it done. It's my very first shawl. I'm very, very excited about it, very eager to see what it's going to look like. And working color work in this color scheme, the grays and white and green, is just my favorite. It's my favorite. When I was trying to come up with like a tagline for my website, which I ended up going with simple and beautiful knitting patterns, my husband was like, well, you should just say sweaters, mostly gray with trees. I was like, that is accurate. That is accurate. That kind of puts me in too much of a corner. That is accurate. I need something a little more romantic than that. But yeah. Mostly gray with trees. I like it. You can like what you like. So there's the snowy shawl in progress. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's stunning. I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait till this is done. I'm so eagerly knitting on it. I need to get another ball of the green, because there's like 2 feet of it left, and keep going on it. So now I am going to show you my new yarn. I have worked with Bare Naked Wools with a few of their yarns. So I knit Snowberry out of Stone Soup DK, I knit Blizzard and Skift out of Better Breakfast DK. Is that the only ones I've used? I thought I'd used another one, but I think that's it. Crinkly stuff on the floor. They are an American yarn company. It's just all American made wools and American grown and milled and made wool yarns. And their thing is minimally processed and not dyed. So if you want to find a really cool yarn in a natural shade that is from American wool, it's like no superwash, no dyes. It's really, really, really nice yarn, and they have a whole range of colors in all of their bases just from the natural shades of the fleeces that they use. And they have different bases with different blends and different fibers from different sheep. It's really cool. Bare Naked Wools. I'll put a link to them down below in the description box so you can go check them out. But last year, every single year they do a fundraiser called the Red Scarf Fundraiser, and they raise money for foster kids who are aging out and have no support, nowhere to go, nothing to do. And the money goes to a scholarship fund to help these kids get a better start in life. Last year I participated in this fundraiser and I included my Pines hat pattern, and we raised a lot of money last year. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much we raised. We raised a lot of money last year. It's not just me. There's a whole bunch of designers who participate, and the knits are kind of Christmas themed, always kind of Christmassy, and they come out in the fall, and it runs through the end of the year. The fundraiser runs through the end of the year, and all of the money raised from the patterns, and also there's some exclusive yarn, and all of that money, every penny of it, goes to the fundraiser. So I don't make any money off of it. Bare Naked Wools doesn't make any money off of it. All the proceeds just go to the fundraiser. So I'm participating in that fundraiser again this year, and the yarn for it just came today. So this is called Festivus 7.0. This is the worsted weight yarn. I'm pretty sure there's also a fingering weight version of it, and there might also be a DK, but I'm not sure. There should be a fingering. You will be able to buy this yarn exclusively through the Bare Naked Wools website during the fundraiser time period sometime this fall. Quantities are limited, so if you want it, you better get it. But anyway, this is 100% organic merino. I'm pretty sure it's non-superwash. It does not feel superwashed. It does not say it's superwashed. Yeah, it doesn't have a squeaky feel to it. It's not shiny. It says hand wash, lay flat to dry, so that also makes me think it is not superwash. The color is called Hollyberry. It is a really beautiful, rich red dyed by Asylum Fibers. So, sneaky peeky of something that you will not be able to get until this fall. It's a really beautiful, rich red, but it's got a little bit of kind of a berry undertone to it, in my opinion. There's some tonality, is that a word? Tonality in the skein, because it is hand dyed. So I've got 2 skeins of the red, and then the white, I'm pretty sure this is just undyed. Color is Birch. I'm pretty sure this is just undyed. The undyed version of the red. So I have 2 skeins of red and 1 of white, and I am going to make a matching set of hat and mittens out of this beautiful yarn for the Red Scarf fundraiser. So anyway, isn't that pretty? I'll move my head so you can just see the yarn. It's a really, really beautiful, beautiful red. Really beautiful red. There's a good picture of it. You get my head out of there. It's really soft. So that is right as soon as I get my forest collection work done, which I need to finish Birch, I need to finish the snowy shawl, and I need to knit a pair of mittens, put a pom-pom on a hat. Then after that will be this. And I am not quite sure what I'm going to do for this design yet. I have a number of ideas kind of kicking around in my head, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. It's going to be matching hat and mittens, so I've got to come up with a design that works well on a hat and on mittens. So that will be my next step. And I think that is absolutely everything I have to talk about to you today, which it's getting kind of dark outside now. Well, the sun's about down, so hopefully the light was nice the whole time. And hopefully my garden doesn't all die tonight. Hopefully it doesn't freeze. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees tomorrow and then 80 degrees the next day and onward. It's just crazy. This last 3 days have just been kind of crazy, but it's been a very cold spring, a very wet spring, which is good because it was a really dry winter, but the weather really needs to get its stuff together because I really want to wear shorts, and thus far I've only worn shorts 2 times. It's pretty sad, I don't have a tan yet. So, yeah, I'm thinking I might take some footage during our camping trip, which you guys will have this. I'm gonna try to upload this video Thursday night so you have it to watch this coming weekend, and then I'll be camping, so I won't know how that will be going for you because I will have no cell phone service. But I'm thinking about possibly recording a little bit of footage while I'm camping and then sharing it in the podcast. Probably not a ton since it's more than just my family going camping. There are some other family members coming along, so I don't know, that I would probably feel really weird recording a bunch of stuff with other people around. Because, you know, I'm only putting it on the internet for everybody in the world to see. But I do have to be self-conscious when I'm filming it, taking pictures. That's how it goes. But I thought I might film a little tiny bit so you guys can see where we go, what we get up to. It's really pretty up there, so I thought you might enjoy that. I might do that. Don't hold me to it, and then I can share it with you next time. But anyway, for now, that is everything I have to say, and I'm going to go do the dinner dishes, which I did not do before coming up here to film this podcast. So I hope you guys are having a lovely June so far. I hope the weather is nice where you are. I hope if you are in Montana watching this, I hope you are safe and okay and your house didn't get washed down the river. And until next time, you guys, happy knitting.